Hey man, got the pizza. Hope they remembered the pepperoni.
Football Manager 22 is out.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
But it's also not actually out yet. So for those that don't know, Football Manager utilizes a release system where the game comes out November 9th. It's obviously not November 9th yet. And so they release a beta first. If you've bought the game on any Sega approved retailer, you can still be playing the beta right now. I have a link in the description where you can buy the game and support me, but don't do that unless you feel like the game is worth buying, right? You can jump in on this beta anytime, but what the beta is, for those that haven't heard the word, it's this open testing. Like in the bottom left corner of my Football Manager, it says, this is a beta version. This doesn't mean it's like the beta male of the game. You know, Football Manager is an alpha male, and so am I. That's why I sit here in sweatpants and play video games all day. Mom, it means it's open for testing, large, wide-scale testing with a bunch of people playing it so that they can find the final bugs and patch them up. And the saves that you start in the beta can carry forward, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Because if you carry your saves forward from the beta to the main game, there might be some bugs that they still can't fix. So start with a high league team, play 1 or 2 seasons, get a feel for the game, and then you start your long-term save when the game actually comes out on November 9th. But it's also actually out now. Now that we're playing it, and it's not me playing the alpha version for like an hour, what have we noticed that's a wonderful feature? Number 1, the scouting center changes. Right? We click on scouting. They did not make a big deal about these during the feature prep, but as you play the game, this is one of the things that stands out the most from previous versions. This is probably the best setup that they've come up with one glaring exception. First, you have an excellent little report screen. You've got your range of transfer value, which is sometimes hilariously broad, but probably more realistic than a specific number, which you then complain about to me, and I never really had a good answer for because they were dumb. So now at least they're giving you a huge range. Depending on how much the team values the player, it could fall anywhere in that range or somewhere outside of that range, I'm assuming, because they're probably still not close to accurate. We'll figure that out over time. It displays all of their interests, their estimated salary. You also get a great look at all their pros and cons on the same page as any agent feedback, which is the agent prepping you for what they would be asking for if you were to try and make a transfer deal. You still get the name, position, team, contract, whatever, but the glaring problem. Let's get rid of this guy because we don't really like him, right? Once you get to somebody that's being recommended by a scout, as we see up here, you can also approach the agent to get that information on this screen, right? And they're not fully scouted, so we don't have any of their pros and cons. We just have some basic information. So we're going to fully scout the player, which is now a button on the bottom as well, which I am passionately in love with. And in the approach agent button, you can show a specific amount of interest to the agent, and you get a more obvious rundown if you've interacted with them before. You have the option to offer a trial with a little drop down arrow, which of course I love offering trials. I mean, losers scout, Chad's trial. Did I internet well? But the glaring issue, there is no way at this point in this giant waste of space, if you don't already have the information from the agent, there is no way to like pull up the attributes here. You have to hover over the eye to be able to see the attributes as you know them at that time. That is just way too much work for me, and I feel like there's enough space here. You could just have an option like attributes and what the agent is saying. Start on that, start on their positional awareness or whatever you want to show here, but then have the attributes that you can go to with one click over here instead of a accuracy thing. I got to go over here and hover. That's just not a good UI thing for me, considering they have improved the UI in this situation by so much. I'm gonna scout you. Offer a trial to Paulinho. You're not good. Willie Caballero, yes! Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Number 2. The UI changes are actually rather significant. The most obvious one, the least obvious one that's been bothering people the most is the fact that the continue button is not actually in the top right corner. It's now sectioned off in this square that has the little pink at the top. It's not actually in the top corner, and that really bothers some people, so I am so sorry that I pointed that out. But even when you go into contract negotiations, it's much more blocky And when you go through like finalizing your promises, the actual term of the contract is at the bottom instead of the top. These are just weird little changes. I don't necessarily know the logic to that. They've now put the salary at the top. It just feels different to me. I'm sure over time it'll feel comfortable again. And obviously the salary is the second most important thing, but I think the duration of the contract is probably the most important thing, because the salary is one thing. If you have to pay that 5 times over instead of 3 times over, that's the most important. Maybe it's like glass half full, anybody have actual brain cells that can figure this out for me? I don't know. Number 3. Oh, but pleasant revelation we have to pull from our first FM22 stream because I can't make them pop up organically. The staff meeting, better than I thought. I made a video saying that it was the worst feature announcement for FM22, and that still might be the case because it's just not as significant as the new animation engine in the match engine. It's not as significant as the data hub, which we've since discovered is actually fully moddable. Now, I haven't played any matches with Leo in my beta save yet, but you can actually go into these different screens and like fully customize what's popping up like on the player stuff and everything. I will make a ton of videos about that at some point, but it is a great thing to point out. But the staff meeting isn't a complete waste of time. It doesn't feel even as clunky as the recruitment meetings. It feels insightful. There are ways to schedule things to appear in your inbox right after the meetings so that you can take care of them. They not only keep you up to date on the vacancies in your staff, but they make good recommendations, which has never been the case. So I went out and filled my staff, and then multiple of the recommendations that I got back the day after I already went and filled my staff were staff members that I had sought out and signed. Like when you see this yellow over the person, that's somebody that I had already made an offer to the previous day that I had judged to be the best potential person for the position, which means the AI in your staff has gotten much better at recommending staff signings, which is huge for people that don't want to do it themselves, which is a lot of you. Apparently, staff is important. Get it together. But now you can trust your whatever. We're a dying breed, the people that sit there for 2 hours and set up their staff. A dying breed. But we'll stay strong. The staff meeting is not a waste of time feature. It does add something significant to the game and does add the immersion that I think they were hoping to add, more so than something like the recruitment meeting that I am often finding myself just clicking through. We're super happy to be in the game. We're super happy to be playing the game. If you want to watch me play, of course, the link to the Twitch streams are down in the description. If you don't have time for that, we have a live channel, different YouTube channel that is down in the description, and it's like linked to the recommended channels of this channel. You can watch edited episodes of all of the live streams there. Maybe when you get home from work, pop that on instead. That works perfectly fine. But the game is out, and I am reserving judgment on whether I recommend it to you or not until after the full game comes out, and then we will give it about a month after that, and then I will make a video deciding whether you should buy this game on a scale of 1 to 10. There's a lot of small changes. The UI changes are meh, but the animation engine, I think, grows on you, and a couple other things like the staff meeting, the new scouting look, and apparently there's a couple new regions to scout. Like they added an extra region in North America and Europe, and I had like 3 regions like Northeast Europe. I don't know, I gotta figure out what nations are in there. I have no idea yet. That's why we put our nose to the grindstone and we make videos. Enjoy the new game if you have it. If you don't, the Oriental Dragon save that we played all of last year will be uploaded to FM Base. If you want to keep track of that, join the Discord and I will notify you when our old save is up if you want to play that on FM21 instead. Have a wonderful day. Actually, consciously have a wonderful day.